only reason I felt like I could do that is because I know my work ethic. You know, I know who I am, right?
You're saying a lot right now.
I wouldn't know that if I didn't put in the work and attain what I attained with just hard work.
Welcome back to another episode of the Go Club Podcast. I'm your co-host, EJ West. We have the big man, Brandon OJ Bam Moore. And today we have another very special guest, Mr. Nathaniel Hodges. Mr. Hodges is a former professional soccer player. He is a current skill development soccer coach as well as a soccer coach in general. And last but not least, Mr. Hodges is a poet, man. This is going to be another great episode for you guys. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoy this episode.
It's a beautiful fucking day.
See how you see? See how it see?
Yeah, bro.
Just wait till you be out there for a little minute.
You know what's crazy, dog, is I've been trying to get on a boat for a while, probably a year now. Like every time I came home from Utah, I was like, man, I gotta get on a boat. I need to get on a boat.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
But that's because it was waiting for this moment.
Really?
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-oh, he in his bag.
He in his bag?
Oh, he knows something. You know what I'm saying? He knows something.
For real, though.
Telling you, I had that revelation last night. As soon as you invited me, I said, that's what is.
I'm trying to tell you, bro.
You play soccer, right, B said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
I got the foot with the footwork, man.
That was my life. That's my heart.
Yeah.
I coach now, but man.
You do Little League, high school?
I do travel, like AAU.
Okay, that's what's up.
I got 3 teams. I got a U10 boys, U12 girls, and a U16 boys.
Gee.
Yeah, bro, that's a lot, but I love it.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I love it though.
Hey, you remember all the students and all the kids and whatnot?
Oh,
do you remember them? That's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's
got to. That's the
those are my kids, man.
That's real.
The academy I'm part of, like the U10 boys, there's 50 of them.
Dang.
We have multiple tiers of teams, but then multiple coaches, and that's where I coach with Asa.
Yeah.
It's there's 50 kids. I know them all now.
That's real, bro.
It's ridiculous.
The love in that coaching, man, that hit different, boy.
Yeah, man. I say it's a lot, but it's not a lot when you love something. You know what I mean?
For real though.
They pour into you too. I know they pour into you a lot, man.
There be rough days, especially my girls, bro. Like it'd be rough days. I pull up and they're just like, Coach Nate. I'm like, all right. What are we doing? Y'all don't got a care in the world, so neither should I.
You feel me? You said it.
That's it, bro.
That's real.
I know coaching them girls gotta be different, bro.
It is, man. At first,
is it different? Like, I don't.
Yeah, but I don't. That's the thing is, I'm not different though. So we gonna run, we gonna work, we gonna put in the time, and I still don't accept I don't accept weak shit.
That's real.
These girls gonna be tough.
Yeah.
World, dude, for real.
Very, very small world, bro.
Where did track play growing up?
Powder, bro, like YMCA.
Really?
No.
Really?
Bro.
I know, right?
Bro, YMCA, yo.
And
then look, okay, but we knew he was good, bro. We knew he was good. So one day my dad took him to over in what's the school? IMG for the national team, bro. And at first they put him on the C team. He played one day on the C to just make the C team.
Yeah.
That one day from the C team he went straight to the A team.
Damn.
That's how that happened.
From fucking YMCA.
No, dead serious.
Right, you can't stop.
And we be training.
You can't stop what you destined for,
feel
bro.
me? That's what it
crazy.
is. That's what it is.
Now he on the national team. That's
living
from the
crazy,
YMCA. That's bonkers, dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
That's what these American coaches will lie to you about, man. It's just like
you gotta do the biggest league and do
You gotta be the biggest league. You gotta pay $3,000-4,000 a season, to get seen and blah blah blah. But nah, my nigga came from the YMCA.
You feel me?
You
feel me?
I'm telling you.
That's crazy.
And what are they in terms of the recruitment for soccer players? How is that? Right? Are there a lot of AAU coach, a lot of college coaches that come to the games, tournaments?
Yeah, but that's the thing is you got to be to get seen by real college scouts. You got to be on a high quality team and a high quality tournament in a showcase for the most part.
Is that what they're going to? They're going to those high quality tournaments?
My kids?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the college coaches. Is that where they're going?
Yeah, that's where they're going. They won't.
So they're not even looking high school.
Fuck no. No, high school soccer is a
Jeez.
joke.
Yeah, I feel you.
It's not like high school basketball or high school football
Yeah.
where it matters. Like, nah, like half the time, a lot of these teams don't even let their kids play high school because it's just not important. It's not relevant.
I feel you.
I ain't gonna take it from them because it's like those are some of the best memories, man. Because it's like the least amount of
pressure.
Right? Like, and you want to play for your school, you know. Get the shorties in the crowd.
Yeah.
Have some school pride. Like,
you play for Newsom?
Yeah,
Soccer?
yeah.
Okay,
We went to the state Elite 8. We took it that far and lost 1-0 in the regional finals or something.
Yeah, heck yeah.
But it was some good times. Yeah, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I feel you.
Right, so I don't want to take that from kids. Like, the coaches that, you know, there's a lot of coaches that really just be like, if you play high school, then you're not gonna play. Yeah, bro.
Oh wow.
That's how like unimportant high school is. You're never gonna get scouted from high school.
Jeez.
It's
okay. It's all only the team, like your AAU team or your travel team.
Yeah.
That's real.
And even then, it's hard. I remember I sent out like 100 emails just to get to Thomas. Yeah.
Dang. Yeah.
You wanted enough.
If you want, bro, I was just talking to my mom about that yesterday, right? Like she says, like, oh, you know, some people just don't have the ability to do certain things. Some people don't have the ability. I'm like, the same reason that you use to not have an ability is the same reason you use to why you should go do it. You know,
1,000%.
Like, bro, like who was looking at us? Like, we went to Southeastern.
Yeah.
Like, we had to email the coaches. Like, if you want to make it that bad, you gotta go email somebody. Then you gotta put yourself out there. You know what I'm saying, man?
You gotta email and pull up.
You have to pull up.
Yeah.
Like, if you want it that bad,
like
these guys don't want it, man. So
bro. I had when I was a senior, like, because I wasn't the most talented player. I was, all I was hard work. So I remember my senior year, bro, I had my ex-girlfriend on some little bullshit, little camcorder recording me, and like I made my own highlight tape. And,
but that's how bad, bro.
If anyone's gonna give you something, like throughout life, that's only God's blessing, and that comes from sowing the seeds you did already. Yeah, that could be 10 years before, right? And then, bro, maybe you get some blessings, but other than that, bro,
it could be 10, like you said, 10 years before. Like think about like what we do, what you're doing now, right? 10 years before now, you were putting in the work to be here now to tell these kids, like, yo, I'm telling you, like, put this work in, because like, what would you be doing if you didn't put those 10 years back? It'd be crazy.
Bro, I don't
like, imagine like where you're at right now in your mind. Imagine if you didn't play soccer 10 years ago and you couldn't be here.
Yeah, no, honestly though, because life would be, because the thing is, man, when I was in Utah, like, life was stable. I had a great income for what I was doing, and a lot of those guys that worked at that hotel, they could support their families. They've been there 25 years. Yeah. Right?
What were you doing in Utah?
I worked at a ski resort.
Oh, okay, that's real. Perspective, that's crazy.
Yeah, man.
That was a different perspective on life, huh?
Bro, I worked at the number one ski hotel in North America.
So you saw some crazy people in general.
Bro, I saw Mark Cuban, Will Ferrell, Margot Robbie, fucking like Aloe Black. Like, that was a regular, the president stayed there, dog. They had
for real?
Bro, they had the
Obama? Or Donald?
Biden.
Okay, it was back then. Okay, real. Yeah,
Either way, bro, the president was there. They had snipers on the roof, and they had, they were bomb checking all the roof. Bro, it was crazy. Secret Service, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it was an amazing job, but at the same time, like, I just know my potential, man. And so I left the stability, took a step down, so I could build myself up in a different way.
For real, though.
I mean? But the only reason I felt like I could do that is because I know my work ethic. I know who I am, right?
You're saying a lot right now.
You wouldn't know that if you didn't. I wouldn't know that if I didn't put in the work and attain what I attained with just hard work. You know what I'm saying?
You snapping. You're snapping, bro.
Dog said, I knew my potential, so I left the stability.
Like, I left, imagine, I knew my potential, so I left stability.
Hey, yo.
Exactly. And right now, like, life is difficult, but I'm
but you starting at the, but imagine, right? You starting at the bottom because you want to do something else different. But the bottom, you can't be there forever, right?
No,
like,
there's
can't.
No chance, dog.
Like, bro, It's just, I'm telling you, bro, I feel that. I completely feel that for sure.
And I personally think hard work may be, as cliche as it may sound, may be the most underrated talent there is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
Like,
It's
bro,
huge.
It's an underrated. We look at the kid with the skill set. Show me the kid with the motor.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? Because motor develops skill. You're gonna pick that up.
Exactly, bro.
But skill with no motor, bro, that will wean out inevitably at some point.
Yeah, right. And that's the lesson I like from like Japan, right? So the Japanese, they don't tell their kids how good they are or something. They praise them for how hard they worked at something, right? So, and that's our problem here in America is we tell our kid like, you're so good, you're so great, right? And then they get this validation from being like, you know, they think like, okay, if I get straight A's, I'm gonna be so good, right? Like I'm gonna be great. And like when life happens, because life is way harder than school, you know, they feel like they lose their sense of self, they lose their sense of like identity. Because if something doesn't go good, they don't know how to get out of it, right? They just think they're so great, but you're not.
You're not, and it's not even that you're not great. It's just that you gotta be able to work through that tough time.
Exactly.
Like, man, you might not. Hey, man, I averaged 30 points a game. I had an off night. I had 5 points. Does that mean that you don't go play again?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to go do it again, like every day. Like, it's not always up. Sometimes it's down, man. Like,
they be folding like lawn chairs, bro.
I'm telling you.
Folding like lawn chairs. Like as soon as something hard comes, it's over for them.
So what do you think about this like age of kids? You think these age of kids are softer than when we were growing up?
1000%.
But do you think they're more talented? Because our talent was we worked hard. But I feel like they're doing things that we didn't necessarily do.
I think the ones that work hard are. Yeah. I think overall, I think
Mbappe.
Mbappe.
I ain't never seen, like, maybe when Messi was young.
Yeah, I still think Messi got him beat in talent. For sure.
Jeez.
And Ronaldo. I don't think Mbappe's there yet.
But imagine you're comparing this like 19-year-old kid to some of the greatest players.
No, 1,000%, man.
He's in the conversation.
He is, and I think, but like I'm saying, I think top to bottom, I think we're better, top to bottom, because we know how to work hard.
Okay.
So I think your average player, I think it's gonna be a little top heavy in the future.
Okay.
Because I think even now with like NIL deals, right, and you getting into college, you making $1 million. Like, where's your hunger at, really?
True, because we were trying to go get that.
Yeah, exactly. They just getting given that. Right, they living comfortable in college, and not everyone's getting millions, but they still living comfortable.
What you mean? Hold on, wait. If you're not getting millions, and you get hundreds of thousands, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Great.
That's what I'm saying. You still living super. Even the bums at the bum school, like when I say bums, like relative.
Yeah.
Right. Like I met a kid and I was driving Uber because I'm on that grind right now. So I was driving Uber and I had a kid in my car who played for. He's a cornerback for University of Buffalo. Yeah. Right. He's great
Cormani?
kid. Huh?
Was it Cormani? Okay. Good.
I don't remember his name, to be honest. One no Cormani, and even he's just for NCAA D1. He did regular school, whatever, right? And he's still living just fine. Like he's still, you know what I mean? Whereas we fucking struggling. Jameis Winston stealing crab legs.
Yeah.
And he's Jameis Winston. And he's stealing crab legs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's way different, bro. Reggie Bush is trying to get his family a home type shit. Like,
yes.
And this 18-year-old's got a Lambo now?
They're going themselves. They're going to get it. They drive. That's crazy, right? Yeah. What's your take on the new rule they just passed with? You get 2 years JUCO, then you get to go to a 4-year school. I'm honest. None of that. I'm pissed.
They don't count your JUCO years.
I feel that.
Yeah. I think it's kind of dope.
I like it.
To be honest.
I like it for the grinders, man.
Yeah, for the new kids, I'm happy. I'm mad for myself.
Yeah,
for selfish deals.
Yeah, bro. Like as much as I'm crying about it, like when I like a few thousand a month when I was playing, I just think it's excessive. Right? Like I think the college kids should be able to like live a little bit, not worry about where the next meal is coming from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that was a real thing when we were playing. There'd be kids that like, they had to have a part-time job, so they basically got 3 jobs.
For real.
which is
real
part of the grind, you know, if you really want it. So I get that part too, but I think I wouldn't have minded having, you know, a few thousand a month, like just to survive
that's
and live.
pennies to what they're getting though.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
Exactly, right?
Yes.
Like I think there's got to be some there's got to be a middle ground somewhere, man. Because I think it's too much right now for 17, 18. Like, all right, what am I working for?
Right.
Like, am I really gonna go out and get rocked on this football field, or am I gonna take this million and just be done? Right.
I was talking to EJ about this. I was talking to him about this maybe a few times before on the boat. We were speaking about sports leading to depression.
Definitely, man.
But let me ask you this, right? So, context to the question. So you're gonna play sports. You're gonna be the man for the first 8 years of your life. The first, 25% of your life, you're the man. So you get that feeling, and then sports are done. You hit that depression. You hit that, man, I don't have nobody to talk to. There's not really a lot of people you can relate to because they never really lived it. They never lived like, being able to travel in different places, seeing all these different things, right? But would you ever take that experience away from yourself?
No. God, no.
So is it worth how you feel?
I think it's worth the fire, man. I think it's worth, because at the same time, if you're a true athlete, you know how to grind. And if you can't grind out of like a hole or a depression, figure your way out of it without the sport. And I think what that is learning how to separate your self-identity from your sport. That's the most important part, right? So like,
but how hard is that? Because that's hard.
That is difficult, man. It took me years.
It
took me years.
I feel you.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It took me writing a lot of poetry. It took me starting Haiku HODGES.
That example on the Haiku HODGES, that's dope.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man.
Like, because I remember what happened to me was, again, for whatever reason, I wanted to be a pro soccer player since I was like 3 years old. I don't know why, just like that was my thing. I remember even at like 8 years old writing it in a journal, right? Like my best friend, like Jake Vanderloop, went to Southeastern, my next door neighbor.
Oh,
right?
man,
That's my best friend, like that's my brother.
Yeah.
And like we were like 8, 9, like like if this is what we want to be, we gotta write it down in the journal and stuff, right?
Oh boy, I was in tune early.
Early. All right, so yeah, bro. Like, well, we went through some serious shit. Like our best friend, like in our neighborhood, he 8 years old, got a brain tumor, died in cancer. Like, so we was like awoken early.
Wow,
He was awoken. Like, God was like, wake up. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is real. This is real shit. And so, anyways, like that's what I wanted to do my whole life. And I remember I had coaches telling me like I wasn't even good enough to play college. So I was going like six practices a week. I only had 2, but I'd find different teams. Higher age, lower age, like going every single night, like to the fields and doing my thing. And so I put in a lot of work, man. And so getting to Germany, playing there, having the time of my life, and then COVID happens.
Hold on, wait, time out. We stopped at COVID. You went to Germany and played?
I was about to say,
Oh yeah, and Costa Rica. But Costa Rica was.
Yeah. So where did you play? Where did you play at in Germany?
I played near Frankfurt.
Okay.
I played in a town called Darmstadt.
So what was that like? What was that like, yo?
Hey, the podcast friendly response.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
No, yeah.
But you know what? And I asked you that because listen, we were talking last night about perspectives, like, and I'm like, imagine you got the Utah perspectives. You lived that life for a moment in time. You lived that life intently, and then you lived the soccer life. I was around you when you were living, at the SCU life, and you were playing soccer or whatnot, where you were doing your thing. Like, I was around you during those times. So like now you're saying like, okay, you did the professional soccer route, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
And what was that viewpoint?
Man, I put it like it's best time of my life so far. Right? There's more to come. There's much more to come. But it was honestly, man, just like being in that environment, especially from wanting to be that from such a young kid, being blessed enough. I'm so grateful that God let me do that. And even though it was only like a year, a little over a year because of COVID, which is honestly, man, like meeting people, which I'd already met a lot of people from all over the world, but like truly meeting people from all over the world, barely speaking my language, having to learn. Like I was the captain of the team. I had to learn how to speak, you know, a little bit of Portuguese, a little bit of German, you know, obviously a little bit of Spanish, but that comes from Florida.
Yeah.
Having to communicate. And I remember there was one time being open enough, I got invited to like a little dinner party from this girl that was kind of like messing with one of my teammates, right? But she like invited a few of us over, and I was the only dude that showed up. Because I'll go out of my way, you know, for new experiences and things like that. And I show up to this dinner party, and I end up sitting at a dinner table with like just me and 9 Egyptians, right? And like,
wow,
yeah, bro.
You're
like,
with Egyptians.
Yeah, like 9 Egyptians, bro, in Germany, just sitting at a table with them, and they're like, you know, passing around, you know, whatever, and like making food and stuff, and kind of just like exchanging our cultures and talking about it. And I remember one time, like, women got brought up, and I remember talking about like American women are this and that and blah, blah, blah. And one of the dudes, like, he just looked at me and he's like, yeah, you saying all these things about American women, but like, and like, no disrespect, but like, what about you? Because like you attracting all these different type of women, like, is it really them or is it you? And I was like, I just sat there, you know, obviously with the ego, right? I got a little defensive, tried to defend myself a little bit, but then, you know, I really sat there and thought about it later, and I was like, damn. Like,
it could be, it could be me, right?
Like,
I feel you.
You know, there's definitely responsibilities in those things, and I took ownership, and that's why I dive so deep in self-reflection in terms of my poetry and things like that. And everything I write about, everything I post about is about that, right?
So, what were the beauties in your isolation period? Because I'm sure there were so many.
So,
hindsight 2020, what did that period of isolation do for you, bro?
Strength. I think isolation is the space for elevation, right? And I think so. At the same time, like, my mom was terminally ill, right? So I'm in Utah, away from everybody, and like throughout the years, like, you know, my mom is dying and getting closer and closer to death, and like I'm by myself, you know, and my only friends were like my coworkers. So I go home and I would just be alone, like, you know, I barely get to go out with anybody, and I think that was truly time for me to spend, you know, time alone with God and kind of, you know, at first I was angry. You know, I was angry at God. I felt like, what's going on? Why is this happening to me? But instead, you got to ask the question, like, God, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing for me? Right? As much as this hurts, like, where are you taking me? What's going on? And just having faith that. So I think it increased my faith. It's kind of like being in a cocoon, right? Like you are, you know, in the dark, alone, but you're just being transformed, reformed, refined.
Shedding off all that bag.
Yeah, man.
Making yourself re-strong.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Right, and that's kind of like the haiku I showed you last night. Like, you know, cracking the cocoon, shed the skin of circumstance, freedom emerges, right? Because regardless, if you can do that and find your inner power, when you do break free, no matter what happens, like, your soul is still lighter. Like, I've finally come to a place in my life where, you know, this whole last year has been low-key, has been trash. Like, if we're talking, you know, like, you know, like with my mom dying, with moving from stability, with going to Texas on a dream and not following through, and girl I was in love with, like, it didn't work out. You know, like, these things are just kind of, and that was after all the soccer stuff, right? Like, so those things just compiling, and like, I'm like, bro, what? I'm like, gee, I'm like, God, where my blessings at, bro? I'm like, you know, I try to be a faithful servant, but like, what's going on, right? And kind of just finally like shifting that mindset and finding my power, my true strength within myself, and like those things at the end of the day, like, life happens to everybody, right? You could tell me a story about how, you know, your life was shitty for a while. I know your life was shitty, tearing your Achilles right after you going 10-0, bro. Like, that's ass. That's awful.
Perspective on life, right?
You know what I mean? And, but we grateful.
Isolation.
Right, exactly.
Right, that's the same story.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the same story.
I've been a writer since I was a kid.
That's real.
Reader, writer. Like, I read a lot, you know, I was reading a lot of books. You know, I was 8 years old. I finished all the Harry Potters, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
And again, when my friend died, I wrote a lot about that, and But honestly, man, like the way life goes, I kind of I lost it for a while. Like I just didn't even, I didn't write. I just lost, like throughout relationships and meeting people, but especially relationships, like they take a part of your soul with them, right? If you're not strong through it. So you're losing part of yourself through every single relationship if you allow it to happen. And when you're young and naive, you do allow it to happen. You do allow people to take your power. You do allow people to take pieces of your soul.
And so, you know, where you were then as a pro athlete and where you are now, I'm assuming you would say you're way stronger now than you were then. Is that correct?
1,000%, yeah.
And I think the dopest thing is you're 100 times stronger now than you were then. And now, right, the misconception is vulnerability, like you said, wiping up the tears, throwing the phone, vulnerability is weak, right? But now you're so much stronger and you can share. You can confess it to the world, right? So I tell people all the time, it's not the guy who's here, right? I'm not guarding everything. I don't want to open up to anybody, but vulnerability is power. You know what I'm saying? So you coming on here with your walk, your faith, everything you've been through, and being able to say, yo, I was crying in the room dealing with a heartbreak, right? I was going through whatever, and I started journaling, right? I started writing poems, right? That is the power, right? Because again, we all have conversations. We're all around so many people that, you know, you don't know who's going through what until you open up and you confess, you share. You know what I'm saying? And you being that team captain, you know what I'm saying, dealing with what you've been through, that's gonna help, again, so many people because everybody goes through something. Everybody 100%. Has a, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has a testimony. So I guess what I wanna ask you is, because again, it's one thing to go through something, but the proactives into healing, right? Your proactive is journaling, prayer, meditation, isolation, and really getting to find yourself in those spaces. So what I wanna ask you is, I guess the root of your journaling, right? Mom, dad, right? Who led you to start journaling, right? Was this somebody saying, hey man, you should probably do this, or is this something you picked up innately?
And just
honestly, you're 8, 9 journaling, right?
Honestly, it's just something I did. I was honestly, just as a kid, like going through what I went through with my friend dying and everything, like, and reading so much, like even in school, they would just ask us to, you know, write free writing. And I just would free write, and I would write a lot of things. And I felt even at that time, looking back, obviously I didn't think about it then, but looking back, like I was writing out my traumas on you know, on the papers then. Yeah. Right. And I even got something when I was in like middle school, published on like the Moffitt Cancer Site website or whatever, just about my friend who died like, you know, a few years before that, right? And so I remember just writing about that getting published. And again, I don't really know like why it fell off, but again, life just happens that way. And I think after that, like actually recently, obviously I've been writing already, but so I'm actually, like I said, I thought, you know, there's been 2 girls in my life I thought I was gonna marry, right? And the one that just happened was like 2 months ago. Like she packed up and moved back to Utah, right? And like, this was my ride or die. Like she helped me move across the country. Like, you know what I'm saying? She was there after my mom died. She was like, but I wasn't ready. And it's not in the sense like I wasn't ready to commit. I wasn't, but my foundation of who I am wasn't where it needed to be. And, you know, and so I lost her, you know, that's how it goes. But she, not even a believer. This is why I think God puts, you know, people in places for you, right? And then he takes them away, right? He gives and takes away. You gotta be thankful. I'm so thankful that she was in my life, because man, like even when she was leaving, professing her love for me and things like that, and telling me how much she believed in me, and telling me like, hey, like, I think you need to get back to God. She's not even a believer like that. She's like, but what you need is like to be in prayer. What you need is to be connected spiritually to your foundation, more so than I was. And like, again, that's not even her thing, right?
When you were, she saw the difference.
Exactly. Yeah, and
that's powerful.
And I lost sight of that through the struggles of life for a little bit when I was with her, because I was trying to take everything. I was trying to be the man, right? And like not have her pay for anything, not have her, and I couldn't. Like, I wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to be. And my ego destroyed our relationship.
Man.
Not because we didn't love each other, because we still do. I know she still loves me. But like, and I still love her. But my ego got in the way. And she'd be like, hey, like, you know, I can get she's like, well, how can I help? Like, I can maybe get it like a little job and help out and things like that. And I was like, nah, like, don't worry about it. Like, I got it. Like, let me take care of you. And like,
yeah, it just wasn't.
nope.
Let me know this, right? What about, you said ego, right? Because, you know, in boxing, you got to have, like, if you're going to be great at anything, you low-key got to have an ego, right?
You do.
Right?
Do.
Is it worth the ego messing up your personal life?
I think,
Cause you know, I got, listen, man, like, thank God for my wife, you know, thank God for the people that I have in my circle. But it's like, your ego, you got to think that you're the best at everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you do, but you have to be, you have to be humble.
Mm-hmm.
There's a strength in humility. Like, you can be the best you can be the best and believe you're the best.
yeah.
But when life humbles you, or you get put in a situation like, hey, bro, I don't want to drive Uber.
Right.
I don't like that shit.
You feel?
Like,
Damn, you snap.
you know what I'm saying? But like, I do it because that's what I got to do right now. Like, obviously, like, I'm building my personal training, I'm building up my coaching, but those things take time, right? And those are the paths I want to be on. But in the time being, I got bills to pay.
Yeah.
And at first, I was angry. I'd be in the Uber mad as hell, because I Uber for 12 to 16 hours a day sometimes, bro. Like 400 miles on my car, just Ubering, right? And I feel like such a bum. I went from playing soccer, you know, in Germany, and then to working at like the best ski resort in the country with great money, stability, to now I'm in this Uber. Now I'm in this Uber, man. Like, you know how like hard that was? But then I sat there and I really, again, a lesson from this girl, from this woman, was like, I gotta be grateful where I'm at, because, and when I flip that perspective, I'm like, dude, like, it's an opportunity for me to pray for people. It's an opportunity for me to speak to people that need help, because what did Jesus do? Jesus was the most humble person on earth. My man rode in on a donkey, like before his death. You know what I'm saying? He didn't ride in on no chariot. He came in on a donkey, like, and he came in the most humble beginning. So I think, and he knew who he was. He was him, right? He is I am. And so just like you're talking about your ego,
wow.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't need that if you know who you are.
Exactly.
That's real.
Right? Like, you know you the top boxer, bro. Like, and you should know that. But you should also know if you gotta fight in some little bummy little town somewhere,
you gotta be okay with that.
Because that's what it is in that moment of your life. Then okay. And I think about King David a lot, right? Like, David was anointed the king when he was a jit, and he had to tend to his sheep for like 12 more years before he even saw Goliath. And then he beats Goliath, and then he had to run away from the king and be in the cave. He had to live in a cave.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And like, he knows he's gonna be the king.
Yes.
Like, I know I'm meant for greatness, but I gotta drive this Uber.
Come on, man.
And I gotta love God and be happy about it through it. And I gotta just, shine my light, shine the light while I'm in the Uber, right? So, and this isn't one of those things that I do it, to brag about it, because I've honestly only told like one person about it, but since we're talking about it, trying to be vulnerable and things like that, like, I will literally be in my Uber and ask people, what can I pray for you for today? Like, what can I, how can I help you today?
Wow.
And I will pray for them. And I've had people cry and tell me they needed that, because we never know what people are going through. And at that whole time, I was just crying that morning over the girl that just left me. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I ain't asked for them to pray for me, man. It's how can I serve you even in my pain? And I think the most beautiful part about that, her leaving, was I knew immediately I didn't want to become the old me. I didn't want to fall to my old habits. Like, all right, let me go get some more bitches.
Yeah.
Let me download the dating apps. Let me start partying. Let me start drinking. Let me start turning up and distracting myself. No, like, bro, I before I moved back into my father's, which is also a humbling thing, and the time of my life I'm in right now, I was so grateful for him as well. Um, I sat in that place that we shared together for a month, just me, just embracing the pain. And so like we're out there, you know, watching sermons all day, every day, like praying. I'd be on my knees in the bed that we shared, and I had the most powerful moments I've had with the Lord in those moments, man. And that's why like he gave me my power back. Bro, he gave me my power back.
But here's the thing though.
Like Samson.
If you wouldn't have sat in the pain, and so many people will miss that, we gotta stop it there. If you do not sit in the pain, you miss it.
Exactly.
You miss everything.
You do.
If you numb yourself and go start drinking and go, you miss everything.
Bro.
Bro, adversity, that's the goal. That's where you put the shotgun down, but you needed that to be out here.
I did.
You needed it.
Bro, I would not be here on this boat with y'all,
bro,
if I didn't sit in that.
Come on now, bro.
God knows you better than anybody.
Come on, you can't.
And He knows me.
You can't.
It's my weakness is women, bro.
Real,
like Samson in the Bible, bro.
Yeah,
my weakness.
That was mine.
But not anymore.
For sure.
Right. My weakness was wanting validation from a woman, and maybe that's from being adopted and like you know my mom, you know, obviously giving me up as a child, like. Which I didn't even know her, but at the same time, it's in the back of your mind all the time as a kid. Like,
respectfully,
oh,
we
man,
have that in common.
Yeah, bro. Like these, do we?
Respectfully, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna stand up on that. You know
Amen, brother.
Respectfully,
Hey,
you know,
I love my parents. Those are my parents,
100%.
but that still is in your head sometimes. And so, like, you reach out for that validation from women, and you give them your energy. And I did that too many times in my life, man. And I realized this time, like, every time God is trying to teach me, He's like, bro, you get it yet? Bro, you get it yet? Oh, you still being stupid? You get it yet? And I'm just like, nah, bro. I'm just like, you know, like whatever, bro. Like, I'm just gonna turn up. I'm gonna find another one. I'm gonna do my thing. And the next thing I know, you get it yet? And so like this one, man, I got it. I was like, okay, I got it, bro. I'm with you. Everything. I don't care. You will bring me the right one when it's time. I am with you. No one else. Don't talk to me. These hoes don't. And it's funny because I talk about, especially working at the gym now, I talk about like if my breakup comes up or people are talking about that, like, you know, I tell them how amazing my ex was and how much she does mean to me and everything that she did for me, right? And that's not simping, that's reflection. That's accountability, right?
Wow.
And so like, And so I think for me is people always, first thing is like, man, you just need to go get another hoe, man. Like, the best way to get over one is to get under one. I'm like, that's the best way to stay enslaved to yourself. Bro, that's the best way to stay enslaved to yourself.
Yeah.
Every time. You're just going to repeat the same thing again. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it, bro. I'm so tired of like, because I do have a good heart, but what I was doing, what I have been doing is I people pleased enough, at least with women in relationships, because I am who I am. But as soon as I get in a relationship, I had not learned how to really guard my heart in the sense of just for myself. So I would self-sabotage myself by forgetting my own needs, putting other people's needs in front of mine all the time. You got to do that sometimes, but all the time to the point where I would forget about my own needs and my desires and what I needed to achieve in my life. And so I'd end up resenting that person deep down.
You want it,
but really resenting myself because I'd be mad at myself because I gave up who I was to please someone else, right? And I am done with that shit, bro. I am so done with that.
Who I am.
Yeah, like I'm done with that, bro. Like I'm not gonna keep destroying myself to please other people. And it's not even like they asked me to do that. That's just what I felt like I needed to do so someone would fucking love me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, and that's straight up just facts, bro. Like I did not feel worthy enough of love. I did not feel like people would love me for who I am, at least in a romantic sense. So I would sacrifice who I was so they would stick around, which in turn would just push them away anyways. Because they fell in love with the man that I am, not the man that I was pretending to be. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that is real shit. And I am not like, that's where I'm at now. It's like, bro, I am never doing that shit again, dog.
When it's all said and done, what do you want your legacy to be, right? 85, 90 years old, however long you want to live, long, great, successful life. What do you want to be remembered by, brother?
As cliche as it sounds, like I think in a dark world, man, I want to be known as a light. I want to be, I want people to see me and feel love and peace, and I want right, because our whole world, most of it is darkness.
Yeah.
Most of it is pain. Most of it is suffering, and I don't want. Again, I want to be remembered as a man who was there for his fellow man. I really think we're put on this earth to love one another. I really think we're supposed to have community, and I think social media, in a lot of ways, something that was supposed to bring us together has ripped us apart.
Yes, sir.
Like it's not used in the right way for most reasons. Most people don't use it in the right way, in the way it was meant to be used for. And it brings about comparison, it brings about judgment, it brings about pain.
Yeah,
and but, and I want to just be a legacy of love, peace, and genuine human interaction, because there's very little genuine human interaction now, man. You try to talk to people and they just
You're right.
and I think that starts with us. I think that starts with people.
Bro.
Even when I was, like I said, even when I was hurting, I was trying to be there for others, right? And I think so many people they innately feel that nobody cares what they say anyways, because we don't. We say, it's like, hey man, what's going on? How you doing? And it's like, good, right? It's like, I'm good, because no one feels safe enough. And honestly, that's an automatic question too. Yeah. We always talk about the automatic response is good, but we're not really asking how people are doing.
Come on, bro.
We're not, no one's really asking that. They say, how you doing? And then they get annoyed if someone's like, honestly, man, I'm not doing that great. And they're like, bro, I wasn't really trying, in their head or to the next person they talk to, they're like, I wasn't really trying to have that conversation.
We say this every time. Ask them how they're doing, but ask them twice, because the first time you're going to get that generic answer, brother.
Always. If I can feel their energy, I was like, how you doing? And I can feel their energy is different than normal. I'm like, nah, for real, you good? What's going on? Right now, at least try it. Some people are still so closed off, but you have to be that way, bro, because it's planting seeds. How can I expect someone to be that for me at one point if I'm not that way for others, bro? And I think the biggest example I got, the last thing I'll leave with, is my mother, right? Even on her deathbed, even on her deathbed, man, a couple months before she passed, she'd been battling it for 5 years, had every reason to give up on God. She's the most religious woman I knew. Had every reason to say, God, you've forsaken me and I'm done with you. Yeah. She's in bed still preaching, still giving advice to young people, still loving on others when she's literally about to die. And instead of woe is me, even in the beginning of it, after 2 years in out of the 5-year journey, she's still trying to do yard work. And when I try to help her out, she's like, no, and trying to walk around the block. And when she couldn't walk, she got an electric bike. When she couldn't do that, she was in a wheelchair. She did not let the circumstances of life dim her light. And that's the strongest thing I've ever seen. And I refuse to let circumstances of life dim my light. And that's the most important thing.
I want to close it off and say you embody that 100%. And just to very quickly kind of share, I know I told you I lost my godmother right when I graduated college, and it was yay, right? So, but same, she's on her, deathbed, preaching to me, preaching to my sister, preaching to my, right? Checking on us that she's unable to, fend for herself, man. So I appreciate you sharing that, because that invoked that in me. And I'm like, wow, that's dope, because you take that and you move forward with it, right? If they can do it, then, they pass the torch for us to, carry a little further, man. But in closing, man,
what do we find?
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of the Boat Club Podcast.
Boat Club?
Boat Club with the K. The K is for keep going. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode with our brother, Nathaniel HODGES, man. It has been an honor to have you on this episode, man. And again, in closing, fellas, this is why we do it. Conversations that matter. There's so much power in healing that comes to having a conversation. So if you got guys, you got a friend group, you got friends or whoever's around you, please check on your people, because as we know, studies show most men suffer in silence. So please be the one to start the change and bridge the gap and, making conversations the normal in terms of, healing and just brotherhood in life. So thank you guys so much for your time. Till next time, peace.